Hello, guys, and welcome to the Red Hat Monday here on Bob Randall and Company live show today. Can you believe it? We're getting so close. We're 89 days away from Christmas. Can't wait. Everybody's getting excited. I hope everyone's getting their stuff ready, getting it together. At this point, say hello to the greatest man in the world, Mr. Randall Santa Checker Lee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday night. It is a fantastic day. So great to see everybody. Oh my God, can't believe it's Monday again already, and not 89 days yet till Christmas. Wow, I mean, come on, that's nuts. That's crazy how fast it's going. I do like the red hat, Bob. It is fantastic.
Well, we sat back in the green room and I kept staring at you and I kept thinking, gosh, man, that is such a cool hat that Randy's got on. Hey, maybe I should put one on too. Randy said, go get it. So I've got a couple of coat hat racks that I made a couple of seasons ago for my virtual set in the living room, covered in hats. And I want to grab this one because I thought it kind of looked like Randy's. And so anyway, Red Hat Monday. Hope everyone has a red hat. If you do, get it out and wear it, man. Be part of what's going on today. Good to see everyone. My goodness, looks like everybody's chiming in early and quick here. AJ, Ben Bellhorn, Rex Ray. Let's see, we got Eric and Moesha, David Dixon, Deanna. Hi, Deanna. How are you? Nathan Vanderbroek is on today, and a couple others that I only.
Dan's on. Good to see everybody. My goodness, a great list of people. Good to see everybody on a Monday afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Great list of folks right there. All right, so man, I got to tell you,
Hey, Nathan.
I have complained about the weather. Of course, people in the South complain about the weather. We complain about the cold. We complain about the hot. We complain about the dry. We complain about the rain. We're just, weather complainers, right? Boy, are we blessed today. We got beautiful blue skies, light winds. It was mid 60s this morning when we woke up. Had a cool front move through yesterday. A little bit of rain around the Metroplex. They were hit and miss. We got a few sprinkles, a couple of rumbles of thunder with a storm that passed just to our east. But fantastic day today. And I know that you're going to tell me how nice it is up there where you're at in Michigan.
Actually, it's done nothing but rain the last couple of days. It rained again.
Oh.
I was out. I did performances yesterday doing magic. I was supposed to be there from 10 to 5 doing a show every hour. And plenty of times it poured. Thank goodness I had my covering because it just rained. Sun came out, rained, and sun came out. So it's raining out here right now. But I guess, it's better than that S word. I won't say that S word. It's that 4-letter word also. I'm not ready for that word up here yet. I'm really not.
I hear you. But this is why we like teachable moments. Now let's take this and kind of do a little teaching moment right here. Guys, if you're going to do gigs, you always got to be prepared. We've talked about preparation over and over and over and over. And an experienced entertainer knows the weather can turn bad on you in a heartbeat. Randy went prepared. He had his awning. He was ready for whatever the Mother Nature threw at him. And that's something we should all think about. Don't just think about the obvious, but think about the variables and always be prepared.
Yeah.
All right, Randy. Gosh, man, again, it's getting close. The weather's starting to change. We smell fall in the air. Fall originally officially arrived last week. So it's beginning to feel good out there. Can't wait. State fairs are out and about. Our state fair opens up this Friday. They are open here in Texas for 3 weeks. Normally we go on opening day. I don't think we're going to make it this year. I know that the attendance will probably be down with the economy the way it is, but hey, it is what it is. All right, man. Let's move on and look at this big old pretty multi-patty burger that we got coming up here. This Southern burger.
Big hot stuff.
Well, I just told Angela she's going to have to put that back into her editing program and turn it down a bit. That about blew my speakers out.
I tell you, I'm sorry, I gotta laugh every time I look at that thing. I'm sorry. It's pretty bizarre, but I had fun putting it together.
Great graphics, Randy. Randy, I know you must have been doggone hungry when you put that one together.
Ah, man.
All right, so today's Something Burger segment. We got 2 hot topics again. We had 2 last week. We're going to throw 2 at you this week. This is the part of the show where we're going to ask those that are chiming in live with us today. By the way, today is episode 13, September 26, 2022. I didn't mention that at the top of the show, and I should have. I always like to start our videos off. That way, if you go over to YouTube or Facebook and you're looking for a specific segment, episode, it's a little bit easier to know that from the very beginning that you're on the right one, the right track. All right, so 2 topics today. Randy, go ahead and let's take the first one there, sir.
I'll take the first one. All righty. Working on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, how much do you increase your rates? And do you? On Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, how much do you increase your rates, or do you? And I guess why?
Yeah, let's see what you guys say. Me and Randy
really
know what our answers are. But if you guys got any input, throw it into the chat box. So let's talk about it. We like to get different point of views here on the Monday show and kind of find out the consensus across the board, what we're all thinking, where we're at as far as being on the same page together. And, again, I always say that they can only benefit the folks that we serve and the Santa community as a whole. We don't want to, I wouldn't call it price fixing, but I would call it being all on the same page and knowing what we're worth, so. But
and we know everybody's different. We know that New York, let's say, can't do in the middle of Iowa, or California is not the same as Florida. So when it comes to saying I make $500 on Christmas Day or $150, I guess it doesn't matter to us the dollar amount. We just want to know is if you do increase your pricing, yes. and what do you feel just because it is the holidays, that's why you do it. You up at 25%. And maybe that might be an easier answer for everybody. Do you up at 25% or 50% on those days? I just want to throw it out. Maybe on Christmas Eve, do you up at 25%? Christmas Day, do you up at 50%? Or do you double it? Do you up at 100%? I'd just like some feedback. I think it'd be really interesting for everybody to see what everybody does. Because that's it. We're done after that holiday. And they're also very personal to our families. If you have families, to be with them instead of out hoeing, I think it warrants an increase. What do you think, Bob? Go ahead while we're waiting for some input. What do you think about percentage-wise?
That's my thinking and reasoning behind it too. And again, we don't need to know specifically how much you charge. Just do you increase by 10%, 25%, 50%, as Randy said. And for me, being at the mall, the long hours at the mall, boy, when the 24th comes and I walk out of the mall for the last time, my contract is done. I'm really not game for going out on that night. Christmas Eve, we always have our family get together our Christmas on Christmas Eve. Christmas morning, we get up in the last few years and drive to Colorado, starting off with a couple of stops along the way. Take a few days to unwind and then turn around and come back home just to get a little short break from it all and something to look forward to. Kind of what carries me through that long mall season, knowing I get a trip afterwards. Mm-hmm. And, again, that's valuable time. It's what I consider prime time. And Christmas Eve is prime time. And whether or not you do your family Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or both, there was times in the past when we still had lots of family members living and still in the area that we would do my side of the family on Christmas Eve, my wife's side of the family on Christmas Day. And so, but again, yes, I do think that Christmas Eve is worth more than any other day leading up to it. We know that there are weekends leading up to that point that are valuable prime time that most folks want you that weekend before or the weekend before that. December is prime time. Christmas Day, that's a whole different thing there. For me, I've done Christmas Day, and yes, I did increase my my value by 50% for both of those. And those were my first 2 seasons when I first got started. I probably would increase it more than that now, knowing what I know and knowing the valuable, how valuable those 2 days really are. But, if you really want to make an impression on your children and or your community, HOAs, family, whatever, That would be a cost that I think most families, if they can afford to, would be able to say, hey, Santa comes on Christmas Eve, Santa comes on Christmas morning. We're going to buy him no matter how much it costs. And so let's see what everybody else has got to say over here. Go ahead, Randy, and start covering those for us.
Yeah, actually, David, I agree with. Actually, I'm kind of like what David does. I've never performed on Christmas Day. I've done a couple virtuals on Christmas Day, but I've never left the house as Santa ever on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, after I leave, usually Bass Pro or my Santa house, depending where I at Christmas Eve in Birmingham. I'll do 3 homes, and I do double my home visit on Christmas Eve. So David said, same thing, and Ben, that's fantastic, man. Triple on a Christmas Day. That's a wonderful thing to be able to do, of course. And I think it was Rex said, or somebody says they don't travel very far, which is a good thing to say too. You're not going to travel very far on Christmas Day, but it's a nice array of what everybody does, and it's all what Bob said. It's kind of like the individual. Sometimes you just want to spend that time with your family. We work morning, noon, and night for a month and a half. That's why I picked Christmas Eve is enough and Christmas Day is with the family. So I did do virtual, but oh well, I'll probably do it again this year.
Yeah, and that's true. And Deanna has a great point that I didn't mention, but on my website, I do shorten my visits. I only offer a 15-minute visit for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I will extend that to 30 minutes, but the price goes up considerably for the 30-minute visit, not doubling it over what I would charge for a 15-minute visit, but I do increase it by 20-30% to make up the difference. Because there's only so many, again, prime time, you got to think prime time, there's only so many 15-minute segments that you can do in an hour. You're lucky to get 2 or 3 in, depending on how far you have to travel from point A to point B, point C. So all that comes into play. But your time is valuable. And again, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Santa doesn't need to be there more than 15 minutes, in my opinion. Get in, say hi, take a few pictures, drop the presents, take a bite of cookie and milk if that's what they want you to do. Read a quick, 3-minute story and get out of there in 15 minutes. Say, hey, Santa's very busy today. I've got other stops and be gone with it.
Yeah, that's agreed. Totally agreed. It shouldn't be a long, drawn out thing because Santa's too busy on Christmas Eve. I mean, really, he's got to be delivering the presents. I chuckle what Ben said. The reason why he triples is because he wants to deter the people to make it not really to book them, and I guess then to make it worthwhile if they do say, yeah, I'll pay your triple price. So he would rather not work, but he offers the time. So.
Well, that was my reasoning back a number of years ago when I did increase mine. Because in the beginning, I just charged the same as I would any other day of the year. And then I got to seeing the worth, the value, and the prime time in it all. And I increased it. And then someone mentioned on one of the Facebook groups about, well, if you really don't want to work, you just jack that up really high. And most of the time, they're not going to take it. But that backfired on me one year because they did take it and I had to go out and work. But it was, he got good money for it. So that's all that matters there. But yeah, let's see. Ben says last season I had one price for Monday through Thursday and a different price for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Great point. He eliminated my weekend pricing this season. Oh, really? Because of the economy, Ben? Would you say that is the reason behind that? And he says to you, Randy, the important part of that is I want to be too expensive exactly for the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day to deter folks from taking it. But if they do, then it's well worth your time because you're making excellent money for it. Prime time money for prime time.
Right. The other thing, I've been doing these 2 families on Christmas Eve for 15, 20 years. And of course, I didn't know back then you'd charge double, triple at the time. So I haven't been able to increase too much even along the way throughout the years with this family. But since they've been so loyal for so many years, and one of the families now I even do on Thanksgiving night and Christmas Eve. So they've kind of doubled the money up. So
Ben clarified that. I had that wrong. He eliminates the lower weekday prices. So therefore he's got a higher price Monday through Sunday. And then Steve Kleiner says, of course, from Hamilton, Ohio, we normally charge double our rate for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Again, I think that's pretty much consensus with everyone. Yeah. Deanna says, I never worked Christmas Day. That's for family. It would have to be a very important visit and probably a pro bono visit. Good point, Deanna. Great, fantastic. All right. If no one has anything else there, we're going to go ahead and shoot for our hot topic number 2, our something burger today for the second topic. Do you prefer to stay home during the season, or do you like to travel and work in another location, meaning a different city? A lot of guys like to travel. I know they look forward to that. It's kind of like a mini vacation away. If you're at our age, retired, and your wife is retired, sometimes wife goes with you, even if she is Mrs. Claus or not. Sometimes if you're working in a photo set, the wives or daughters, granddaughters can get a job as one of the elves on the set. And then there's some guys that just refuse to travel. So we're kind of interested in seeing what you guys think. What would your preference be? I know for me, I'm extremely fortunate and very blessed to be able to do the mall I do. It was kind of a fluke deal that I fell into. My hometown mall, just a mile up the interstate from where I'm at. Literally can get on at our entrance, get off the next exit, and the mall is on the left-hand side right there. So it's really nice. I get to sleep in my own bed, get to come home to a home-cooked meal instead of eating out of a microwave or fast food or whatever if you were on the road. Some guys don't mind doing that. But for me, boy, there's no place like home, right?
I agree, Ben. It would be nice to do in the Bahamas. Yeah, I actually did a stay because I'm in Michigan. I did a stay in Utica, New York for 3 weeks. I went out of town and it was a lot of fun for one year. It was a lot of fun because, like I said, you get the hotel, you get the per diem. There was a casino down the street, so I had a good time. It was like a vacation. Um, but the thing is now, is through all these years, you have so many regular clientels. For me now, I would give up. I would alienate and make my local clients too upset. I'd lose them. So it really financially it would hurt me to go out of town, even though I've always had that bucket. Even though I never had a bucket list of going abroad. I think it would be exciting and a thrill to be wined and dined or something you want to say in Dubai or I don't know. It sounds kind of thrilling. I don't know if I'd ever really do it, um, but I won't because I don't want to alienate my local clients, and customers. That's the thing.
Good there, Randy. Ben says Logan says hi.
Hey, Logan, good to see you, buddy. He's a great kid.
Very good. All right. Yeah. So, again, it's, I guess, personal preference. If you don't mind traveling, it is kind of like a mini vacation getaway. Now, for me, if I were to choose to travel, which I may do sometimes in the future, I may not end up spending my whole career at this one mall, although this will be my 10th season there. But if I decide to travel elsewhere, it's going to take a substantial increase in pay. Again, the perks will have to come along with it. And for me, I would try to get there a week ahead, a week afterwards, spend a little bit of time in the city that I would be, hosted at, and do some sightseeing, make a mini vacation out of it. Spend a little bit of that money that you made for Christmas.
That's the problem. I spent it at the casino when I was in New York. So
Yeah, Steve Kleiner says 2 hours for him, normally around his home for travel. David Dixon brought up the same thing, never further than 2 hours away. Almost half of my work time is booked with about 5 different photographers for many sessions. Again, another great comment right there, because even myself have taken on. I was trying to take on 3. One of them didn't get established. She was just moving to Texas and was trying to get her business established here in Texas. Didn't really get enough to make it worthwhile. But I've got 2 photographers that I will be starting in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, through the 3 weekends from now. Every weekend, I'm bouncing between the 2 of them. They've got me booked Saturday and Sunday, both days, full days, half day for one, half day for the other, backwards and forth. Jackie, my first year to venture out of my local area attraction is paying for an Airbnb. That's great too. And that really is the way to go, because you do kind of have the comforts of home if you get a nice enough location, be an extended stay where there's a living space, say a 2-room with a king suite on one side and a living room and a kitchenette and the other, kind of a sitting area, and or a full-blown rental property that's multi-bedroom, multi-bath, hot tub, game room, theater, bowling alley. Wouldn't that be nice? All right there under one roof.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yes, it does. All right, so I think we've got some great answers there. Thank you, everyone, for participating in that. It's always fun to see what others are thinking. That's something I think that the Red Suit community needs to do more of. I mean, we share and we share and we share amongst our local groups and at the big conventions and things. But this is just another platform that we can use to be able to discuss these kind of things and give everybody a consensus on what we're kind of thinking. Pick each other's brain. Just please don't dig too deep.
Yeah, it is good to get so many different opinions and different thoughts, and because we can always learn, regardless how many years we've been wearing the red suit, you can always learn something and a new idea. So don't, everybody's thought process. That's what is it's fantastic. We appreciate them all. Thank you.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so moving on, let's go to our trivia for the day. SantasCloset.org.
Hey everyone, Elf Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live. The show about nothing. Bob, Randyl, and Company Live is brought to you by Santa's Closet. Santa's Closet has been delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since 2004. Santa's Closet's main goal is to provide both a superior customer experience with tremendous value for their customers. Santa's Closet brings more than 400 separate products to the Claus community at a reasonable price. Don't forget to check out their sister site, MrsClausJewels.com, where Mrs. Claus Janice is a leading supplier for Mrs. Claus, elves, and Santa jewelry, knickknacks, and accessories. Both Tom and Janice are passionate about exceeding your expectations, bringing you products of unparalleled quality and design. Visit their sites at santascloset.org and mrsclausjewels.com. This is Angela Mack reminding you to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
All right, fantastic. So, the first of the 4 BER, that's BER months, have just about run its course. September's almost over with, so it's time to start thinking Halloween. We've got a little bit of time before Halloween, but we, are going to have our second annual Halloween show. Have gotten quite a few folks signed up for that already. Again, if you are interested in that, we'll talk more about that in a moment. But today's trivia question is associated with Halloween. Randy, throw it out there at them.
Here we go, guys. It's a Halloween question. In 2004, in the city of Hollywood, the city of Hollywood banned the use of what party item for Halloween? In 2004, the city of Hollywood banned this use of what item on Halloween? It's a pretty cool item. It really is. It's a lot of fun.
I'm always looking for that one that kind of jumps out at you. You can go to websites and there'll be 100, fun trivia questions to look at. I'll go down through there taking my time, but there's always one that just kind of intrigues me. And this was one that intrigued me. I didn't see this coming. And the way a lot of these sites are set up, they ask the question, and then you have to go elsewhere to get the answer. And when I went down to pick up the answer, I just kind of shook my head and said, wow, really?
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, fun. Any trivia questions, they're just for fun, and that's the best part. But here, fun, and you win prizes besides. So
that's right. That's exactly
even a
right.
better thing.
And I always have to kind of mention the official trivia rules are pinned to the top of the Tuesday Night Live group page. So if you're interested in how the giveaway works officially per the government requirements, that's a good place to kind of learn a little something new there too. I didn't know when we first started these shows that you was really supposed to put up your rules and specify what the giveaway is and where it comes from. And so when I found that out legally, I said, "Wow, we kind of been breaking the rules a little bit. We better get over and get with it, And so we went over and put together the official trivia rules. But anyway, they're over there if you want to read them. Catch them there. All right, so it looks like we've got a lot of great answers coming in already. We will reveal the correct answer here shortly. And at this point, let's do the other side of this, and we'll be right back. All right, that's right. It is the time for our preview for the Tuesday Night Live show, and I'm going to turn it back over to Randy and let him talk about this week's guest and a couple of exciting announcements to make.
Oh man, tomorrow night's a fun guy. This Michael Brewer, I pronounce it. Sorry, Herbie. Does a great job. He's a designer beard Santa, even though he grows his beard on and off all year long. But he does DJ work. This guy's worked for Warner Brothers. He's from the military for many years. Outgoing, funny. He's got some cool stories. He teaches at Charles W. Howard. That's why I wore my Charles W. Howard suspenders from years ago to honor him for tomorrow night. But he's teaching up there. So he'll be a lot of fun. You guys will you'll get a kick. You'll get a kick out of him. He just is a little bit. I shouldn't say off center, but he's. Sorry, Michael. Sorry, Herbie. I didn't mean to. But he's a hoot. I guess maybe that's the best way to do it. He's a hoot, and he likes to be called Herbie, and he'll explain why he likes to be called Herbie. But he's going to also be doing at Charles W. Howard. He's going to be running the reindeer games up there. Which you guys will, I'm sure, hear about tomorrow night. But I think you get a kick out of those because that happened at the iVerbs convention too, the reindeer games. But they're going to make it even bigger. So that's tomorrow night. Don't miss it, guys. Don't miss it tomorrow night. The next Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, October 4th already. October 4th will be Greg Switch. Greg, now this guy, I mean, it just, every time I watch Greg's opening to his videos and everything else, I'm thinking like, you're just a guy doing this. You're not like a big production company. I mean, the stuff he does with his videos and everything else is incredible. And the people that Greg is connecting with to do these things to help him out. It's I mean, the kids goes, that's Santa. That's where I'm at. I'm at the North Pole when he does his stuff. I mean, it's beautiful. Talking to his reindeer, doing stuff with his elves. I mean, Greg, double thumbs up, man. I mean, it really is. Especially that wormhole. I'm sorry. Drop that letter in. I like that probably the best, Greg. I'm sorry. I think that's the coolest. So that's October 4th. Then October 11th, Roundtable. Roundtable. So please, we asked last week, but please send in some questions. We're going to have a panel of guys that can answer some questions. Of course, interact like we do in the beginning of the show here. But if there's something specific, please let us know. Of course, keep it for that night if you want to, or please send it to Tuesday Night Live. Then put it on one of the posts on the Facebook page, and we'll get it and make sure that we don't miss it. We want to make sure we don't miss anybody's question or concern about what for the holidays. So that's October 11th, and then. Boy, it's the October 18th will be the close to the end of the season. Will the annual Halloween party, as Bob was talking about. Now, Bob's going to tell you more about the Halloween party than I know about, but it was a riot last year. Some great costumes. I had a great time dressing up as a wizard, and it just Greg was this weird Phantom of the Santa. Oh, and Mel, thumbs up, Mel, and oh, it was great, good time. So Bob will tell you more about some of the things we're going to be going on and. I'm sure he's going to add something every week about that day, but that is October 18th. Wow. And then one more week after that, that's it, October 25th, and kind of the send-off show. We have to start working.
Yeah, and there again, if you've been a guest on the show this year, last year, and or you're just a regular viewer and you want to submit a 2 to 3 minute video saying, Merry Christmas. This is Santa, John Doe, and I'm going to be working here this year and hope everyone is blessed and, great show, guys, or whatever you want to put. Go ahead and put a little 2 to 3 minute video together to send that to us. And if you will, and we'll get you put on the show for that. That's going to be fun. Done it last year with our guests from last year. So we had a few that came in live. Most of the folks were already getting busy, so they opted to do the video recording and send in. Either way, it's just the final week and send off to Christmas, which is always pretty cool. Yes, again, on the second annual Halloween costume show, got a pretty good list of folks, some great costuming being put together this year. We're looking for more. We've got plenty of time. We're getting down towards the end of the season. Let's just drag it out and have some fun with it. We had a blast last year. Back to our round table. I got a few spots still left there for some experts, or what I would consider experts, to be on the panel. And again, yes, Randy is 100% right. Get some questions put together. Maybe even some of the things that we've discussed already in the opening segment, something burger here, or something you've seen on other sites. It doesn't matter. It's all out there. But if you go to most of the major Facebook groups week in and week out, you see so many questions being asked by the new guys, and this is to help everyone. But the new guys are the ones that really get a lot out of it. And again, since we record these, it's out there, for review at any time. So keep that in mind. Hey, we can't say enough good things about Greg. By the way, hi Greg today, doing great, man. And my favorite is Zoe. Oh my gosh, that Zoe, the reindeer barn. Fantastic job there as always. And if any of you have seen the preview to that, you know what I'm talking about. If you hadn't, I'm sure Greg is part of his presentation for next week's show. He's going to have some really new, cool stuff to show everyone and share with everyone. All right, let's see. AJ says, can I wear white gloves with my costume? Yes, sir, you sure can. Pink, blue, polka dot, whatever you want, man. Your costume is your costume. You build it and you wear it proudly, whatever it may be. Michael is watching. He says off center is being nice. Now, Randy kind of had, and Randy's, knows Mike well because they're in maps together. And I asked Randy back in the green room, I said, I'm having a hard time with Michael's last name. So many folks spelling doesn't match the way it actually sounds sometimes. The Texas State Santas, my group that I have, we had an eat and meet this weekend. Mitchell Allen, everybody knows Mitch, was there. And we were eating. He was sitting across the table from us, and he wanted to know who our upcoming guest was, how many shows we had left. And I was telling him, and we were talking about Michael and Herbie, of course. It was all good, Mike, so don't worry. But I asked him, how do you pronounce Michael's last name? And he kind of botched it too. He said 2 or 3 different things and said, well, I asked him. I said, okay, I will. Michael, if you go over to a lot of the Facebook groups, there is a place for you to pronounce your name, and they break it down into different words and syllables, whatever it may be. That might be a good idea with your last name. I know your wife, I believe your wife has her first name and then a nickname or something behind it. I was looking, trying to find anything, digging, trying to find something. But if you can, help us on it, man. And if not, we'll get it from you tomorrow night in the green room. But we don't want to botch your name up. All right. Yes. Booer. Okay, so basically, like Ken Boer, Booher, and I'm assuming that's how he pronounces it. I've been chatting with him and stuff, and he hasn't corrected me, so I'm hopefully saying his name correct. But it would be the same pronunciation as Booher, correct?
Booher. So
Booher. Okay, fantastic. I'll have to work on that. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ben. Okay, so let's move on to the Elping Chatterbox news. Some of this stuff is old news, but we do want to mention tomorrow night is the night Santa by Parker, Scott Parker, who should be dropping in on the show at any minute. He had to work till 3 today, but he was going to jump in this afternoon at the end and say hi to everyone. But tomorrow night we will be having his drawing for the buckle raffle, the custom Christmas buckle, artist proof number 1 that he got that all the others were pulled off of. September 27th, tomorrow night, Tuesday Night Live show, live drawing. We will probably work that in right after Spangle's segment before we go into the second half of the show. So he had put up a list of the 25 names that had bought into the raffle. They're over on the Tuesday Night Live show. But to watch it live, if you want, come on in, check that out. Okay, so we also want to mention that the Bob and Randyl and Company live preview show can be found on YouTube. We've mentioned that now weeks on end. The most exciting part of this is Randy will be our featured special co-host for tomorrow night. Be me, him, and Spangle and Angela. Of course, Angela behind the scenes, but we'll be in the studio, the 3 of us together, doing tomorrow night's show. When I found out Michael was coming on, I told Randy, I said, hey, it's a great opportunity for you to come roast him. Put him in the hot seat. So, Michael, get ready. I'm sure that Randy's going to have a couple of quickies for you. And I didn't write any of that into the script. I'm leaving that up to him. He can roast you as bad as he wants to. All right, so that catches us up on all that. Going to be fun. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. So I guess at this point, let's move along and give the trivia answer. Yes, I believe Greg said it best up here. Where did I see that at? That is the correct answer. You're right, Greg. Silly string. Isn't that silly? I'm sure they had their reasoning behind it, and I think I probably know why. That stuff is highly flammable, and I'm pretty sure that that's why they banned it, is because folks still have candle-lit jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkins with the jack-o'-lanterns, and if you get that silly string next to that, it is like almost explosive. It goes poof. So that was my thinking behind it. I didn't research it to make sure that's why they banned it, but that was what my thought process was. All right, so silly string is the correct answer, and our winner was
Ben Bellhorn.
Mr. Ben Bellhorn. How about that, Ben? Great job, brother. Boy, he was quick too. We barely got that question out of our mouth, and he had it up. I noticed as soon as it went up there. Everyone had great answers. All the answers were correct. Yeah. Great job, everyone. Ron, Eric, Moesha. Who else had it? Rex Ray had it. Ben. Great job, guys. Always love to see everyone participating and being a part of the show. Okay. Well, you know what time it is?
I've got to tell you a little bit about how your weekend went at Texas State Santas. How'd that go?
Well, yeah, I guess we should mention that. That was part of what we were going to talk about today. Yeah, we had I think 28 folks show up. Had around 30 that said they were coming. Had a couple no shows for whatever reason. That usually happens. But had about 28 folks. We went up north between Dallas and Fort Worth. At the north entrance of DFW Airport, International Airport, is a town called Grapevine. Many of you may be familiar with Grapevine. Grapevine is the Christmas capital of Texas. That's their slogan. They go all out at Christmas time. They do have a North Pole Express train ride that they do with Santa. They have photos there at the train station with Santa. Fantastic deal. Now, last weekend, the weekend before this last, that they had their Grape Fest. Gosh, man, people come from everywhere for the Grape Fest. And that's kind of where their name Grapevine came from. But anyway, it was a great time. We went to Tolbert's Chili Parlor restaurant. Of course, I had to have a cup of the famous, world famous red, chili red. And for those who don't know, and I'm sure most of you don't, but Tolbert's, he was the gentleman who started the Talingua Pride Chili Cook-Off in South Texas. And Talingua, so hard to say. Anyway. And he won that competition many, many, many times, and he is known famous for his red chili. Although he does have some verdes and different types, but I had to have some of that. Fantastic, really spicy but good. Comes with a hot pepper stuck in it. Pepper will set you on fire for sure. Chicken fried steak, you could cut it with a toothpick. It was so tender, and homemade mashed potatoes. That's what we had. But everyone was pleased. Pricing, affordable, but fantastic time. We all got together, shared stories, talked about the season coming up. Always look forward to that. That's our 12th year here in the Metroplex, something I started 12 years ago. My first year, I've told this story a couple of times. Tom Cordemelia, our trivia host for today, was working in Dallas, and he called me and says, hey, you're local. See if you can get some guys together. Let's go out to eat. I've got a brother-in-law that is actually executive chef at this restaurant. That's where we can go and meet. So they kind of started every year that Tom and Janice came to town. We would have this big get-together in his honor. And then when he finally moved on and is working out of Nashville now, we just continue to have it. Lone Star Santas, a couple of years, chimed in and had their eat and meet in conjunction with it. And there was a couple of those that we had 75 plus folks at, so it was really good. But 28, we were happy with that, with the economy the way it is. Okay, now let's go on to Santa Shorts.
everybody. It's Santa Short time. Just a brief peek into the world of Santa. Now, this is something that every Santa does. Every Santa does this, but sometimes we don't always really analyze it or think about it very much about why we do this, how we should do this, when we should do this, how loud we should do this, how quiet we should do this. Um, but we all do. We all, of course, all the time. Now, it doesn't sound like a big thing, this Santa ho-ho-hos. But we also have to really think about the reason for ho-ho-hoing. That doesn't really sound right all the time, but that's the whole thing. It doesn't always sound right all the time. So it's something that I think every Santa should take a few moments and really kind of analyze when you use those favorite three little words when you use them. They can be overused in any visit. They can be a little too powerful, especially if you're doing a home visit. You come in and you're jingling your bells and you're loud as can be in somebody's house. It can be a little too loud, a little too over the top. Or if there's someone that is autistic or a little bit, you have to do a little softer. And of course, sometimes it is just, like I said, overused. Just saying, you're just talking ho 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 ho. It doesn't have any meaning. That's something. That's why I think more Santa should think about when they ho 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 or why they ho ho ho, than just ho ho ho. Because it's just you're like putting in. Sometimes you're putting in those three words when you have nothing else to say, and then they have no meaning for Santa saying them. Um, I mean, if you think about it, the new Christmas Chronicles, Kurt Russell says it's a myth. Santa never says ho ho ho. I don't really agree with that, but they were even pushing that Santa doesn't even do that. Um, I think he should, of course, always should in the right context and not just filling time and also with meaning, a reason for it, like you're actually happy or you're happy to see somebody. Oh, it's wonderful to see you. It's okay to put it in at different times, but not just because Santa standard ho 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 ho. It really takes away from that the meaning of those three words. So take a minute, take some time before the holidays and think about your venues that you do. If you're going into a large venue and you've got 500 people, you've got to be loud and boisterous and big. That's good. Have that one. Of course, then have a softer one, a quieter one, a sweeter one for a little girl that she's so sweet and you just want to kind of giggle at her. But take the time and think of the different styles of ho ho ho's you should have. Um, and make sure it's done for a reason and not just to fill time or not just because that's what everybody thinks Santa should do. So it's something I thought about, and I know some of the people ask sometimes, well, how do you, it's always some questions about give me your best ho 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 or teaching how to ho ho ho, and that is the thing. You almost sometimes got to teach yourself also to do it, and not, of course, also then ruin your voice. You're going to change your voice pattern with it. You're going to go deeper, and you're going to hurt the back of your throat. Um, so make it also, if you've got a busy season, you don't want to hurt yourself by trying to get deep and hurt the back of your throat. So take the time. We've got a few weeks yet before the season starts, but so take a few moments and think about the reason for your ho ho ho, when you're going to do it, the levels of how you do it. Do you only do it with bells? you do it, So just take a few moments and think about that. So that's my Santa shorts for today, and I'll see you soon. See you soon. In fact, I'll see some of you guys on Friday at where you can get this hat from if you like it at Bronner's. That was a weird one. I'll see you soon. That was Santa shorts.
Fantastic, Randy. Great. When the ho 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 that you were talking about, that reminds me of Up on the Rooftop, the song, the Christmas song, where in there they use just ho ho ho, who didn't go. Anyway, so much for that. Fantastic job. Great segment. And that is so true that it's situational and when and where and how. And again, you mentioned going into a home visit being too boisterous. If you've got small children, that can scare them. If they have autistic children or someone on the spectrum, that can scare them as well. So you have to know your situation going in. Those are kind of things that you should ask ahead of time in your questionnaires if you send to the hosting family, and or if you're going to be doing a gig, that you might find out a little information ahead of time, so you know what kind of presentation to have.
Right, and as far as I'm concerned, don't use it just to use it because people think Santa says ho ho ho, because it takes away the meaning. It takes away, and also you have to have that inflection in it. It just some people say ho ho ho. Well, what did I say it for? It meant nothing. Just so. Mrs. Claus has her own chuckle. That she sure does. She sure does. Deanna, that's perfect. Yeah, it's.
Absolutely, Dan. I always right on point.
Yeah.
Roman Clamp says, "Be the best ho 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 Santa you can be. Find your own Santa chuckle, just like building your own backstory, designing your own costuming. You know, each one of us is a little bit different. Take it, make it yours." All right, great segment, Randy. Let's move on now to Santa's magic bag. Real quick before we get started, I want to say hi to Santa Tom up in Vancouver, Washington, and Scott Parker has made it home and has landed safely. Scott, I'll be calling you here in a bit. I want to discuss tomorrow night's show with you a little bit, so be looking for my phone call. All right, Santa's magic bag. This is a topic that, with the season coming up really quick, not only from last season, something that you should have thought about, but definitely something you want to think about after the season is over with. That is, Mrs. C and the elves are terribly upset with Santa because he is so careless with his suits. That's why, Mrs. Claus is always coming right behind Santa. And yes, been a bad boy, Santa. You need to hang those suits up and hang them up appropriately. So what we want to talk about is breathable apparel bags. You see a lot of the guys say, well, I took it to the cleaners. They put it in a plastic wrap. Should I store it that way? No. That simple answer is no, never store it in plastic. You want something that is breathable, lightweight. Another tip that I found years ago is a lot of those apparel bags have a zippered pouch in the back of them. You could put your wrist bells or your hand bells or an extra set of boot toppers or a dozen gloves or whatever you want to store in that zipper bag. In the bottom of that zipper bag and also in the inside of the apparel bag itself, drop a couple of those little cedar wooden mothballs, not the old white ones that deteriorate, that stinks really bad, but just a couple of little wooden scented mothballs in there. That way, if any infestation anywhere, a moth or any other type of bug that likes to chew or get into your stuff gets in there, that'll deter them from chewing a hole in your suit or your coats. Also, we want to talk about removable fur. This is a subject that comes up over and over and over. I took it to the cleaners and the fur came back pink. Well, and you may take and use the same cleaners for, a dozen times and it come back perfect. And then that 13th time it come back pink. There's a lot of variations there due to the chemicals they're using, the temperature of the chemicals, how often they change that chemicals, a lot of things. You can go to a lot of the groups. There's lots of answers there for those type of things. But just remember, the way that everyone's doing it nowadays is either Velcro or the best way is really snap buttons, and have that fur removable where you can take that coat to the cleaners, or there's even some processes out there where you can wash them at home and with color catcher cloths and cold water, woolite, that sort of thing, and then snap your fur back on, brush your fur, and you're ready to go. And most of all, though, if you don't want to take a chance of doing it at home or take a chance on a regular dry cleaning, remember, furriers are the answer. Ladies have used furriers since the beginning of time. Store their fur coats, their fur mink stoles, whatever they have. They clean those, purify them, and they don't use harsh chemicals. And they will actually store them for you during the season, a lot of times for a fee. But mainly, take it to a furrier, let them clean it, let them take care of it. Yes, it will cost you more than a regular dry cleaners by, probably 30-40%, but it's well worth it because they will not mess your fur up if it is attached to your suit. And that is Santa's magic bag for this week.
Fantastic. Yeah, great advice, especially that mothball it. And I've noticed, like, I actually bought, they were like little round balls. They're actually like cedar. They're
Mm-hmm.
little things of
Cedar
cedar.
balls.
It's like, I don't know if they're called mothballs still, but they were cedar and they lay perfectly in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have a problem with my suits. I perspire for some reason, or I make my collars very dirty from my chin, and that's the worst one. So when it comes to being a detachable collar, I've replaced collar. In fact, I just put new snaps on a new collar for a suit just because it just doesn't come back. I can't get the discoloration and the matting down where my chin hits it all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So really taking the time and having those made to have them detachable is fantastic. You get those big, huge snaps, and it's not going anyplace. It's a wonderful idea to do that. And like you said, Bob, some go to a furrier. We spend three
Thousands.
is a very inexpensive suit, 12, 1,500, $2,000 for a suit. To have it done by a furrier cleaned properly, it's worth every penny. It's
Yeah.
not like when we went to J.C. Penney and you got it for, 1995 or Kmart, you $200. It's our suits are worth that's our livelihood. So take the time, like you said. That's a great tip to have go to a furrier.
Cost between 40 and $60 probably.
Yeah.
A furrier may be $75 to $100, but hey, what's a few dollars when you've got thousands of dollars invested already? And again, what you were talking about, Randy, something I didn't mention that maybe I should have in the Santa's Magic Bag segment there is you can take a clean, white, soft cotton cloth and woolite and dampen that cloth with the woolite and brush your fur, blotting it back mainly, not brushing it so much, but blotting it, and do that several times, and it will lift a lot of that grime and stuff out of that fur. Let it air dry, and then take your pet brush and brush it, with the grain, and it'll bring it right back to life.
Well, I've got that collar I just took off. I just replaced, so I still have the other one that looks pretty crummy around just here. So that's what I've been afraid to put any kind of water on it because I thought it would mess up with the fur. So, but
No, it's just cold.
Oh, see, it's great to learn. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, cold and woolite. Woolite will do it, and you can actually. Matter of fact, I saw a post yesterday from someone that had taken and removed their fur that was sewn on, had taken the time to cut it off and washed it separate with trying to think of what pretty much color catchers in woolite, and had done it in the gentle cycle in their machine. Still came out with a little bit of pink, so they put it in the sink with double woolite amount, twice as much as they normally would use for the amount of water, and let it soak for several hours. Pulled it out, let it air dry, and then brushed it and said it looked like brand new. So that is something that you can do. You just got to remember you got to use a pure white cotton cloth. Don't use anything else. Any colors or anything would release back into it. But cold water woolite, those are fantastic items to use, and a good way to do that.
Great tip. Like I said, I've been afraid to because the water on the fur. I've been afraid to ruin the furs.
Yeah, it's more
it's not real, of course, but
yeah, I would be more afraid of the red material getting wet and spotting. If it's true velvet, I know that was a concern in the past. But Chrissy Kovic, Costume Magic, owned a costume shop, Harlequin Costumes, out in LA for 30-something years, 27, 30 years, something like that. And somebody came in one day and said, hey, I'm a professional Santa, and I got a question for you. She says, what's the question? Says, well, you got all these suits. How can you afford your dry cleaning bill? She said, I don't send them to dry cleaners. He said, you don't clean these suits? She says, I didn't say that. I said, I don't send them to the dry cleaners. And she's the one that came up with the process of cold water, gentle cycle, and woolite with color catchers, and taking and cleaning it that way. Take it out, let it air dry, and then again with your pet brush, brushing your fur back into life. It brings it back in and makes it look brand new.
Now that would be for like like velvet or like wool, or what would that be for the coat itself?
You'd have to reach out to her to be precisely
Okay, yeah, I'd
exactly
have to find that
what she's
out
talking
because
about, but I know she's talked about it. And some of the stuff that I've gotten from her is corduroy. She's made me
freezing up there, Bob, for a second. Yeah, but yeah, it's so many great tips about, and there'd be great something that would we should talk about in our roundtable too about suit care. That would be something that I know I'm going to put a question in because some Santas have one suit, two suits for the season, and there's got to be a lot of care if you're doing a couple hundred hours with that suit to make sure that their perspiration is taken care of, make sure that it lasts, something spills on it, how you can blot it off quickly, and then of course storage for the rest of the year. So that I think that's going to be one of my questions, since I just learned something just now about trying to take care of my fur. Um, I just finished putting the snaps back on. I bought separate collars. I found them online, and I bought for my two Coca-Cola suits. I replaced the collars. The wrists and the around the bottom is fine, but because of my perspiration, it's something about the neck. Either that, or maybe it's what I put on my beard or something that discolors the fur. So I've replaced those, and I would like to keep them nice. And now that Bob said that, it's going to be I'm going to give it a try because I've kept the one I took off. So I'm going to give that, since I've already replaced it, I'm going to kind of experiment on the older ones. So, but that'll be something that's a great question. Like I said, everybody, please add it because we can always learn something all the time. And I just learned something just now. So please add that. There's so many things going on, of course, coming up real soon. I want to, of course, this week, everybody, is Charles W. Howard week, everybody. So it's the week there. I'm not going. I wish I was, because I'm performing this weekend as the Wacky Wizard all weekend. But I am going to meet everybody up at a place called Bronner's on Friday afternoon, where I got the hat that Bob likes. I'm going to meet up at the largest Christmas store in the United States called Bronner's. We'll be there Friday afternoon. Charles W. Howard does a little from Midland, Michigan to there. It's about an hour and a half drive, and they do a little tour, and they eat in a Bavarian village called Frankenmuth. So that's going on Friday, and then the reindeer games will be going on. So, but that's this week, and I know your guest tomorrow night is Michael. He's taught last year, and he'll be there again this year. And of course, you got to talk to. Let's see what else we got. Oh, there's Bob back real quick. Hello, Bob.
Sorry, man.
The weather was wonderful.
I guess it was on my end. My computer crashed again.
No problem. I'm just yapping away.
Anyway, it looks like we may have to have the cable company back out again. I don't know what's going on, but that shouldn't happen. But anyway, I think I was kind of phrasing up. I'm not real sure, but we were saying that the color catchers together actually will work. Again, if you want to know more about that, reach out to Chrissy at costumemagic.com, and she can fill you in on exactly her process for that. So, all right. So, did you see if our audience had any questions for today?
I didn't ask that yet. Nope. I was still yapping about stuff. So talking about Charles W. Howard and things like that about coming up. So, but now we can ask that question. Anybody has any questions, please type it in real quick. We'd love to, we got some time left here. We'd love to answer if you got any quick questions or comments about the show today or coming up. The excitement about tomorrow and next week with Greg, and then of course the Halloween time. And of course the Halloween thing is a fantastic gift. I mean, fantastic prize. It's not a gift; it's a prize for the winner for the Halloween costume. So,
and
huge
prize. Go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. At this point, we're working on multiple giveaways this year. Last year, Spangle and Daisy May was the sole company that hosted and gave away the prizes. I'm working on a lot of different things for this year. So not only will we have the Spangle $359 scholarship prize, Jessica Rosa photography is also thrown in a $355 package to come and do a session with her. And I have some other things working on top of that, which we'll talk about once I make sure I get 100%. Okay, Jessica's is $349. I'm sorry for her photo package. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and kind of put this out there to let everyone know. Rex Ray, Kevin Fletcher, AJ Bayless, Brian D. Howard, Ray Bradshaw, Becky and Ruby from Cherry Hill, Mitchell Allen, Santa Mel. I think Randy has told me he's coming, and Greg Swicker all already signed up for the Halloween costume show. Fantastic guys. Looking to get more. Anyone else who wants to dress up and have a little bit of fun, please let me know so I can get your name on the list. We get down the deadline for the Halloween to register for the Halloween show is the week before Halloween show. So that's coming up here in a couple of weeks, really. So we got about 2 more weeks to register. We need about a week to put it together. Last year, we pushed our time limit really close to the show. We were unorganized. There was a lot of things we could have improved on from last year's show. So by giving ourselves a few extra days to organize and put a better show together is the reason we've moved our deadline up to a week out from the show itself. So
It's
again,
just
for
a lot
that,
of fun.
so that's really cool.
Just please join us. It's a lot of fun. It's the costumes, the interaction. It's just a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about. You know, that's kind of a little bit of crazy fun before the season really starts, because Halloween, a lot of us start a week or so after that. And so a lot of us are doing photography already. A lot of Santas are, so they're already started. But most malls or Bass Pro, things like that, start the first week of November, and that's right after Halloween. So join us for a great.
Yeah, you start that first week right after Halloween. So
Yeah.
you've only got a couple of days in between the Halloween itself, October 31st, and when you set the chairs. So. And I've had a couple of guys ask me, well, why are you doing a Halloween show before your Christmas show, your ending season show? Well, it's just kind of the way it has to fall because, of course, the last show will be the ending show, and Christmas does fall after Halloween. So we kind of have to bump the timeline up a couple of weeks. And so Halloween is, again, the show on the 18th, and then they closing out the season on the 25th.
Think about a Thanksgiving show there. Good a couple turkey legs or something. We should think about a Thanksgiving show in there. We didn't have enough time to get a Thanksgiving show in there.
Oh my goodness! Well, maybe something we have to do next year. Hey, maybe we'll do that on today. The Monday segments. Have a Halloween, a Thanksgiving show
in there.
Yeah. And Randy can cook turkeys for everyone. We can go up to his place and
come on up. I got room.
What the heck?
Who wants to come to Michigan? I'm sorry. Not that many people are going to leave there to come to Michigan.
All right. So no questions at this point. So I guess, hey, been a fantastic show. Great information. Again, trying to, put out anything and everything we can to help not only you seasoned Santas and Mrs. Clauses, but those just getting started in the industry if we can. Again, it's not so much who is watching live as for those recorded versions to go back in to be cataloged, and for anyone and everyone to be able to go back and pick up and learn from later on.
And that's what it is. It's just bringing fellowship to the Santa and Mrs. Claus community, and that's the biggest thing. Just bring, learning is a major thing, but it's also bring fellowship and let you know that. I mean, for years, when I first started, there was none of this. You're alone many years ago. You didn't have connection with anything, so we're just trying to connect everybody together and help out any way we can, and it's just so much fun, and we're so blessed and thankful for everybody that's watching and everything else. Really, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Bob and Angela do such a phenomenal job every week trying to put this together. I'm blessed and very thankful to be a part of it, and really to have all you here joining us. I mean, really, it means a lot, guys, and that's.
And Randy has due credit also. He is a big addition to the Monday show. Also being part of the Tuesday Night Live show tomorrow night. Going to have him on as a special featured co-host, I guess you'd say. Two co's on her. But it'll be great. And that's something we're going to do more of. We're going to cross these shows backwards and forth and together and blend them and do different things. And we've got a great cast of folks helping. Great. Me and Randy was talking about this in the green room. Those of you guys that follow us week in and week out, all season veterans, Even the new folks that have come in have taken strides in learning. Ken Boer, for one. I know Eric and Moesha has, oh my gosh, those two have blossomed so much in the last 2 years that it's unbelievable. And so we want to thank everyone for coming in, helping us. Thank you, Ron McClam. He was a big part of the show for a long time. Still love him dearly. And wish everyone safe travels to C.W. Howard. I know a lot of folks are getting ready to travel if you haven't already left. I know Mitchell Allen and Bill Dandy, Sanders Taylor, told me this weekend they were at my Eat Meat that they were both going to be leaving today, heading that away. So everyone have fun up there. Be safe. God bless to everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, chiming in, giving us your 2 cents worth along with the show, making this show the best it can possibly be. Any comments, any questions, anything, just address those to Randy, myself, or Angela. And again, get us some questions for that round table. Get yourself into the Halloween show. And if you want to make a video for the Christmas send-off show, please do so. Let us know. A lot of things to work on. Stay busy. Stay safe. God bless. See everyone next time.
Bye-bye, everybody. Stay safe. Stay mad.